Muchas gracias Bea por darnos estas pinceladas sobre todo lo que hemos estado trabajando. Veis mi sombrero, desde luego, y estaréis pensando qué hago con este sombrero. Bueno, hemos estado trabajando mucho durante estos años. Aquí yo creo que son deberes que desde industria y desde todos los actores tenemos que acometer para, al final, reunirnos de personalidades relevantes que, como he dicho antes, formen parte de este think tank que tenemos y que, al final, debate de una manera, digamos, ordenada para mejorar, digamos, este futuro de alimentación. Y para nosotros es un inmenso honor, y espero que lo disfrutéis, de verdad, valorar la oportunidad que tenemos hoy de tener un ponente, digamos, de este nivel, como tuvimos ayer una conferencia magistral con Julia, pues que fue tremenda. Como os digo, tenemos hoy la oportunidad de tener entre nosotros a Stephen Ritz. Estamos hablando de educación de la alimentación, que además, como hemos dicho, es uno de los ejes principales en los que creo que debemos de trabajar. Stephen es un educador muy galardonado y aclamado internacionalmente. Es autor del libro The Power of a Plan y es el fundador de la iniciativa Green Bronx Machine. Una gran iniciativa que al final pretende acercar lo que es la alimentación, en este caso a los niños. Es conocido como el maestro favorito de Estados Unidos. Ha sido finalista entre los 10 mejores profesores del Global Teacher Prize en 2015. Es responsable de crear la primera aula comestible del mundo con toda esta iniciativa que nos va a contar. Él y los cerca de 1.600 estudiantes o un montón de estudiantes han cultivado más de 165.000 kilos de vegetales en el sur del Bronx. Ha estado homenajeado por la Casa Blanca, por la Administración Obama, por su trabajo. Ha aparecido en la portada de Time for Kids y también es protagonista de un documental llamado Generation Growth. Stephen ha logrado en el Bronx que miles de jóvenes tengan mejores oportunidades bajo el prisma de la alimentación y sin tener que salir de la comunidad para tener al final una vida digna, con lo cual para nosotros es un inmenso placer y os pido un grandísimo aplauso. Lo vais a conocer enseguida por su característico sombrero amarillo. So please,
bring it up now. Bring it up.
Come here. It's a great pleasure for us really to have you here. So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Music. Good morning. Whoa, good morning. So good to see you. Thank you, everybody. So this is just a little bit about what we do, but I'm going to get started. So, hello, Mexico, and good morning. Buenos dias, Mexico City. A big thank you to KM0. Thrilled to be here at Food Talks. Mucho gracias. And we are about 3 things: people, planet, and prosperity. And of course, a big shout out to Beatrice. Where is she? Right there. She's always wearing a cheese hat. So, if you can dream it, you can do it. And we're here literally, not just here, but collectively to create a better world. And long ago in a galaxy far, far away, and that's a greenhouse full of food that my students and I grew. I like to say that we, all of us, are the people who go from can't and won't to must and done daily. And we do it con un sonrisa, a grand smile. We are foodies, we are farmers, we are solutionaries, we are passionate people. Can you feel it? And we are community leaders. What are we here to do? In every sense of the word, it is about nourishing the world. And let me tell you this: fair food, just food, equitable food. Fair food changes lives. We are not nerds. No, we are not. We are superheroes. So today, I salute you. Because while other people talk, literally, we make epic happen. Every day, you saw the startups. We imagine, we believe, we act, and we get crap done. That's right. So what am I about? I'm about building sustainable communities. It starts with economic growth. It starts with bridges. It starts with access to fresh food. All of us understand that image, growth, collaboration, and best practices literally can change the world. Now, for me, the beauty and why I'm here today is because I believe that Latin America is the gateway for change globally. The amount of food, the amount of international people, this is where it's going to happen. However, we've got a very dirty secret to share. And I want to talk about it because most people don't want to. There is a very dirty secret. and I'm going to own it in my country. And let's talk about some numbers. The reality around food is that 40% of the entire U.S. food supply is wasted. This is not acceptable. And to be clear, there's not a food problem or a food waste problem. There's a food distribution problem. If 40% of the entire food is wasted, 60% of that is food that's not consumed, that food is just not in the right places. And when you think about in the United States that it's $789 million of unused food, wow, that's a little bit of income. Now, there is some other news to talk about, and that's healthy food is always wasted where there's too much of it. Poor people don't waste food. Let me be clear. Food is not wasted where there's not enough of it. And kale and all the wonderful vegetables that we come to know and love, they're not garnish, they're food. So this has got to stop. And most importantly, in the United States, we've got to stop sending our garbage to you, and we've got to think about ways we can become more circular in all that we do. Now, the biggest waste of food, I'm going to tell you, is not even the stuff that we see in the garbage, in my humble opinion. It is this crap, taking great raw materials, taking wheat and corn and vegetables and turning them into this. Our parents didn't raise us for this. Now there's some good news. The world is waking up and we are starting to really save food person by person. The amount of carbon footprint, I can drive, 619,000 cars all day long across Mexico City for a year. That's the amount of food that we waste. So if you want to save the world, it starts with food. And I urge all of you to imagine, believe, and act. I want us all, because we can do something today that has never been done before, and we are stronger together. I want to shout out Mexico for taking some initiatives. These are bold moves. Give yourself a round of applause. Together we're going to get to a better natural state. And De La Cocina is where I want to be. So for me, it's about education, all of us being the answer. And when kids grow food in school, good habits start young. They become the food waste warriors. So I'm a teacher and I'm going to have some lessons for you today. Why is it in communities that have the highest healthcare costs in the United States, why don't we design places that help healthy food? If water is life, why don't we build thriving ecosystems to foster that? If children will never be well-fed until they're well-read, until they're well-fed, why don't we have gardens in every school? And if we want to give people access to food, why not put it on the rooftops? If children are the future, why aren't we teaching them to grow and do amazing things? So for me, welcome to the Bronx, and that's where I'm from. I'm affectionately known as El Capitán de los Pollitos, the captain of the crazy little chickens. Yo tengo mucho tigres del norte. But let me tell you where I come from, right over here. And you're going to see it. And that little slice of the South Bronx, the poorest congressional district in America, home to 40% of the garbage, sewage treatment plant, 100% of the garbage, 4 electrical power plants, and 60,000 diesel trucks a week. You want to stand on Reforma and take a deep breath? Come to this neighborhood. Unbelievable. 45 buildings that look like this. No supermarkets, no stores, no access to healthy, fresh food. We are 18 blocks from the subway. And talk about this during COVID. Oh my God, that's a whole nother conversation. And for 3 generations, grandparents, my generation, and children, we have been first in everything bad and last in everything good. Nothing has worked. Where have we gone wrong? And every day my kids, they show up. They can't wait to be in school. We have some of the highest attendance. But death, disease, and disease waits for them behind bulletproof windows and fossil fuel wrapped in plastic. This is not food. This is poison. Cheap food is killing us and ruining the world, and it happens here in Mexico too. So I am a bad man. Donald Trump does not like me. Let me be clear. I'm a bad man, as he would like to say. I have a superpower, and I grow vegetables with kids in school. Each and every day, indoors, we do school around vegetables. We read about it, we write about it, we sell it, we cook it, we have markets, we cook it every single day. And that's what we do in school. We have proprietary curriculum, which is literally science. It is school each and every day around the most important thing, healthy, fresh food. And we've moved attendance from 40% to 93%, had 100% graduation rates. We've made the cover of Time for Kids. Schools that were failing are now proficient. And together with my little guys in community, we've gone from this to this, from this to this, from this to this, from that to that. If you're a landlord, think about what that means, from this to this, and from this to this. One schoolyard at a time, one classroom at a time. 300,000 pounds of vegetables later. My favorite crop is happy, healthy children. I like to say we're putting the culture back into agriculture. These are my beautiful students growing food. It's my job to make sure every child has healthy food, that good food is hood food, and hood food is good food. And through the power of the internet, we've been able to take this everywhere. But whether it's water, carbon, or money, you want to talk about how you change the world? It's with food. So I like to say, no pares, sigue. I'm just getting started. My own story is from impossible to I'm possible. You see, I wanted to be in the NBA. I actually tried out for the NBA. But then I bumped into the equivalent of bimbo cakes. And this was me 12 years ago. 330 pounds, a diabetic. There I am, a head como un calabaza, right? Look at me, incredible. I decided to only eat the food I grew with kids, lost 110 pounds. I like to say I'm bringing sexy back, became a champion of change, brought the kids to the White House, met the president, and started teaching about growing food everywhere. I even got to meet Miss Obama. But then we started working with other kids. We have the first wheelchair farm, commercial kitchens where kids can grow everywhere. Post-COVID, we've taken over empty buildings, empty spaces, and literally retrofit them with our own graduates to grow some of the most nutritionally dense, profitable food in the world, using 98% less water. This is what agriculture can look like, hyper-local, hyper-connected. So for me, it's remarkable. In the middle of the mountains in Appalachia, which is one of the poorest places in the country, there were young men in jail. They were living in prison, drug addicted, had no parents, and every day they had to get up and cut the grass. And I thought that was so stupid. What if we taught them to really do something? So we decided in the middle of the mountains to build a greenhouse. It took some time, and we started teaching these young men how to do construction, how to grow food, how to plant, and literally, here we go. Audio, please. Okay, there is no audio, but you can read it. You can leave the audio on, guys, thanks. And literally, we started teaching these young men how to grow food, growing all kinds of food in a community that had none of it. Now, remarkably, what happens is when these young men turn 21, they are aged out of the system. They're given a Medicaid card, and they're dropped at the homeless shelter. And within 6 months, all of these young men are either dead, incarcerated, addicted, or unemployed. And I didn't like that. So I decided to go online and crowdsource, and we built them 10 tiny homes so that these young men could learn how to do amazing things, pay rent, wash their clothes, go to school. Literally the first home this young man has ever had. And we now have a business model, and I see Julia right here that has margins, profits, and lots of businesses sold in 11 supermarkets across Appalachia. That's what, much better than Doo-Doo Burger. And 2,200 jobs later, my students, your students, our children are dreamers, believers, and achievers with margins, business, and leadership. And we have gone from disruption to delivery with 100% teacher satisfaction. So again, you imagine, you believe, you act, and you make epic happen. And that's what this work starts with. And if you can dream it, you can do it. So I was asked to speak at the United Nations, and I had a really good time. I brought my cheese hat and got out there and started doing my thing, but it's taken me to Colombia. There's my friend Matif, but I remember that event. Korea. England, literally around the world. I was just recently invited back, and I came up with this big proposition, a little guy from the South Bronx. What if we taught kids how to grow food everywhere? And literally, we wound up funding 1,000 schools in Italy, and we're just getting started. From hope to the Pope, it's amazing. We've won an Emmy Award. We have some of the most amazing programming in the world. And for me, it's literally about purpose. And my purpose is to get kids to eat healthy and be healthy, and to get teachers and communities around the world to understand the value of fair, local food. Now, I meet a lot of kids who tell me they don't like vegetables. Oh, profe, no me gusta vegetables. But I've never met a child who's allergic to money. And growing food is a license to print money. And these are my students growing food. This is not Photoshop. This is $40,000 worth of lettuce grown in the South Bronx with some of the most nutritionally dense food. That's 24 days. These are my kids changing the way we look at food, changing the way we eat in school. This is what it looks like. We are net positive on food and energy. I even got to meet President Clinton, and I don't say that to impress you. Somos gente ordinario. We are ordinary people living extraordinary lives, and it's our job to steward children to a better, brighter future. So I found this teeny tiny little company, Google. Woo, my God, they're really big. And I'll tell you something about Googlers. They're really picky about food. They feed more people than anybody and had some of the highest garbage in the nation. So I asked a Google chef to come work with my kids in school. All the kids behaved. We started growing food, learning about technology, creating recipes. The kids created recipes that we wanted to share with Google that you could grow, that were hyper-local. We started our own TV show. It became a Google TV show, and literally has helped change everything around the world. So for me, the value is not the food that we grow, but the communities that we create. And I want every child, I don't care about the Kardashians. I don't care about Michael Jordan, LeBron James. My heroes are the kids who come to school and grow their own food. And if we celebrate them, if we celebrate health and wellness instead of monetizing it, this will be the future. And when kids grow food, they don't waste it. So for the answer is so simple. It's education in all of us, because when kids grow it, they don't waste it. I want to give a big shout out to Bea, who came to see us in the Bronx, met our kids. There are our kids cooking with the White House chef in the middle of the ghetto. And I want to say one thing. Hungry people do not waste food. Let's wake up. We don't all need full refrigerators. Hungry people do not waste food. In my community, hunger is palpable. You see it in people's faces. You see it in food shelters. You see it in food banks. You feel it daily. In my community, food is not wasted. And I want every classroom, every apartment, every home to be a beacon of bright light to show what's possible. And this is the work that we do at Green Bronx Machine each and every day. 2 people. We're volunteers for our community. It is possible to come together in wild ways. So I fight. And let me be clear, I fight. I fight for kids who are born in places that most people would not want to be caught dead in. I can't even go back to Palestine right now. I fight for kids who don't get dinner and can't even spell dessert. And in my own backyard in the United States, I fight for kids who have bedroom, that's their bedroom, whose monsters are real, who will never see a dentist. Imagine in the United States. And each and every day, by growing food, I get to grow something greater and get kids excited about something that's amazing. These are our future farmers. So New York City started a whole notion about educating kids through food. And the policy has taken off now to over 1,500 major cities in less than 1 year. There's me with my students and the mayor. I call him my sustainable gangster. My kids cooked him a vegan lunch that they grew in school, 0 miles to plate. And instead of me telling kids to eat the veggie taco, I want these kids to stand and tell their friends to eat the veggie taco. No more pizza, no more hot dogs. I want a burrito with vegetables, a kale burrito. And when the kids do it, they learn. Believe it or not, my students even built a farm at Yankee Stadium that makes money and sells salads. This is the work that we do. I brought the UAE to the United States. So the biggest seed that I'm here to plant is not vegetables. It's inside your head. It's that we all wake up and seize the moment, because it's about appetite, markets, employees, and innovation. You want to change the world? Look at what's on the tip of your fork. You want to end inequity? You want to end slavery? You want to end child labor? Look at what's on your fork. You want to end global warming? Forget about cars. Where'd your food come from? Where's the palm oil? Was it ethically produced? Were farmers fairly paid? That's where it starts. So for me, food is medicine, and the past does not have to equal the future. So you imagine, you believe, and you act. And long ago in a galaxy far, far away, yes, that's a greenhouse that my wife and I, this is us growing food with kids. There's my wife right there. That's our daughter. There's our school. We're growing food in the middle of the South Bronx and selling it like it's nobody's business. Because for me, it's just easier to raise healthy children than fix broken men. And knowing's not enough. We got to get out there and do it. So I'm a guy with some purpose, and one community after another, I'm going to get out there and teach people about growing food, because this is what communities can, could, and should look like. And my carrots and peas, they're spreading goodness and hummus all throughout the hood. So I did not make the MBA, but I did make the cover of Sports Illustrated, because health and wellness, self-care, and community is a sport that all of us can excel in. And I want to close with a story about my friend Kevin. And Kevin was a young man. He's in a wheelchair. And he was in a school where they were giving the kids too many cookies and too many donuts, and Kevin started getting fat. And he learned about me on YouTube. And he sent me a letter and said, could I help him grow food? And I was like, of course I can. But he had a plan. It wasn't a nonprofit plan. It was a business plan. Kevin was an entrepreneur. He had this whole thing planned out. He started learning about hydroponics, how to grow food. He researched with his friends. We got permission to sell the food in school. He came up with books about what food, what nutrient density was good for you. And then he was really smart. Every day he had a menu, and he put it up in front of the school with a QR code, and people would come in and order. And at lunchtime, Kevin and all his buddies in their wheelchairs would deliver all around the school. He has kids from all around the world, so by passport, he created menus internationally. And for kids who didn't speak or wouldn't speak, he made them sit at the same table and eat together. That's the power of food. So Kevin runs a business, believe it or not. He trained 15 kids in his business. He was celebrated. That's the letter he once sent me. He was celebrated by the mayor of New York City. Kevin now has 4 sites where he's training 15 teachers and 60 students to do the same thing. Grow food. And if Kevin can, so can we. That's what it's all about. Now, I'm so proud to talk about how you can grow food locally. Imagine on a space this big, every 30 days, growing 4,000 servings of fresh, healthy vegetables. It is entirely possible. So much so, some of you may recognize this woman. She came to visit. Oh, please vote for her if you're going back home, please, and I'll leave it there. But there's my wife. Imagine 4,000 servings of vegetables in a space this big. You can change the nutrient density. You can alter the taste. You can modify everything about it. That's technology. That's the kind of farming that young children want to aspire to. So it was great to make the front page of the news. We're proud to have classroom models so that kids around the world can do this. I want to bring this whole program to Mexico. I'll take it anywhere and drive it on my bicycle. So for me, one voice, your voice, my voice, it makes a difference. And I was so proud to imagine meeting Jane Goodall, who came to talk about how we're doing amazing work. So I want all of you to think about how you can join me. I'm here to tell you, no para sigue, because for me, it's just easier to raise healthy children. Everyone deserves a fair seat at the table. And in a world where the big fish eat the little fish, I want all my little fish to outswim the big ones, because I believe there is good in the world. And it starts with you, it starts with me, and it starts with food. So I have a tough job. I get 5th graders to love to eat salad. And I am a hope dealer. That's what I deal in, passion, purpose, and hope. But I'm here to tell you, when you step outside and you make these decisions, there is nothing in the world that tastes as good, no matter who's selling it to you, as being healthy feels. I went from a heart attack, they were going to cut off my foot, to bringing sexy back. So purpose is your inner light, and each and every one of us have the ability to turn it on. And this is why I do it. For my children and grandchildren, your children, look at these kids. They deserve a life, not bags of plastic poison. So intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. I'll be off in 2 minutes. And that's the power of purpose. We are stronger together to build value for all. So I've taken this message not only to nonprofits, because I don't like nonprofits, but to the business world. There's my friend Mateus right there. Believe it or not, when I go, I bring the kids with me right on stage. And the kids love it and the people love it. So we've changed the way people see kids from the South Bronx, because we have everything to gain and nothing to lose. And I don't want you to waste me. Don't waste us. This is what people say about the work that we do. We were just named the most innovative company. Imagine 2 volunteers being an innovative company, and we're taking off. So today I humbly ask, not for a handout, but a hand up, because we are ready to scale. I want to work with you and Beatrice. We want to make handshakes, because partners, support, and capacity can do amazing things. We have this amazing documentary. I'll show a quick clip, and then I'll be out of here. Sound, please.
Well, they have 5 different types of pork rinds, but no fresh fruit.
There's a strong link between having poor diet, having poor health outcomes, and then there's just affecting your quality of life.
See, you go to these skin colors, you're not an outcome. Why not change? Who's the white guy with the cheese head that's walking around there? I had this vision. I could put this actual part in the classroom. All around it.
Ritz and this reading box machine are opening up on science, nutrition, and wellness.
Cultivate the talent of what you do, the trajectory of those children's lives. Sometimes you gotta pull a little magic out of that.
My favorite subject is science. Sure.
So the film is called Generation Growth. You can see it. There's the website. It's available in Spanish, so en español también. There's a QR code, but I want to get off the stage. I'm going to ask my dear friend Carla to stand up for a moment, please. Carla is one of the most prolific educators in Mexico. If you want to do something for children and sustainability, please speak to her. And I urge all of you to imagine, believe, and act. Decide, commit, and succeed, and get out there and make epic happen. My name is Steven Ritz. No pares, sigue, and you can learn more about me. I'm all about purpose. I want to thank KM0. Thank you so very much. Mil gracias. To Beatrice, la flor de nuestra jardín, siempre, siempre, siempre. A big round of applause. You can learn more about us here. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Vámonos, let's make epic happen. Muchas gracias y nos vemos pronto. Si se puede. Come, we take a picture together. Come.
Thank you very much.